Hello students, today we're going to be talking about audience and purpose in writing, and in order to do that I would like you to start by reading the 3 selections for week 2 on the readings tab in Blackboard. They're very short. Just go to the readings tab. They're all listed as week 2, and if you click on these, they'll open them up and you'll see that they're one page. I think the longest one goes on to 2 pages, but it's less than 1 full page of text. So pause the video, take some time now to go on there, read those, and then take a little bit more time to think about who the audience is for each piece and what the purpose of each piece is. So who do you think the author was writing for, and why do you think the author was writing it? Okay, we'll start with the Kotaku. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. I think last year someone said it's Kotaku. Review of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Who do you think the audience is for this piece? Well, when I read through it and knowing what I know about the publication, I think that it's people who are familiar with the Pokemon series. How do we know that? Well, the author uses specialized language. They start out talking about things that only someone who had played Pokemon before would understand. The audience might be for older players. The author talks about games from 1998, which is when Pokemon started, and maybe when the author started playing Pokemon herself. And I know that Kotaku is a general gaming website for gaming news and reviews, so really this might be written for a general gaming audience, people who haven't played the games before, who haven't actually experienced Pokemon, but they might be interested because they see it on this website. All right, so what do we think the purpose of this writing is? Again, taking a look back at what is written there. Well, first, the obvious purpose of a review is to talk about the game. What was good, what was bad, did she like playing it? Our author also takes some time in that writing to establish her authority, which also, you might say, show that she knows her stuff. Again, this is the use of specialized language or jargon. She talks about the Dexit controversy surrounding these games, where the company making them was going to remove some of the Pokemon that people loved from previous versions of the game. So she knows, the author knows about these things that are going on in gaming. Also, though, part of the purpose of this review is entertainment. Our author is probably trying to get people to start or keep reading Kotaku, and that is shown in the writing style. So if we think about how these things, the audience and the purpose, affect the writing style, because of our audience and because of our purpose, our author uses casual language. In the section that I shared with you, swears once, I think, but as you go through the review, I think it happens again. She uses jargon that's known to gamers or people familiar with this series. The writing style, each sentence for sentence, is conversational. It's like she's talking to a friend. It includes emotion and opinion. It's very comfortable and relaxed writing style. And it starts with narrative about gameplay. This is part of the entertainment aspect. We're trying to engage the readers and get them interested in it so that they keep reading, which in turn will keep people reading this site, and if they are entertained and interested in this narrative, and then they're going to come back, and that generates more money for the website. All right, let's turn to the page from Atari to Zelda by Mia Consalvo. Who do we think our audience is? Well, this, even though this is also writing about video games, the audience for this bit of writing is very different. We're looking at probably academics, other people who are interested in the academic side of video games. And we can see this or guess that it's for academics because we have a totally different kind of jargon. We refer to multiple sources. We use endnotes. We've got very complicated sentence structure at times. This might be for non-academics who are interested in learning more about the culture and design of Japanese role-playing games, which is what JRPGs stands for. This also might be for an audience not just of general academics who are interested in this, but also for people who may want to argue against Consalvo. Those people who make up part of the academic audience are also probably part of the audience that she's thinking about when she's writing this. And what is our purpose? Well, she states flat out that her purpose is to explore the authorship origins and the establishment of particular parts of the JRPG game design. She also, in these paragraphs, sets up the context in which these questions are going to be asked. And we know that this is a setup because it's the beginning of a chapter. Consalvo also establishes authority, and she does it in a very different way from the way that Gita Jackson establishes authority in the Kodaku review of Pokemon. Consalvo does it by using sources and moving logically from step to step. Her use of jargon isn't itself going to establish authority. She does it by referring to things and showing that she's done research and thought about this quite a bit. So these, I mean, I'm sort of stirring all these things together in the discussion, but these things, the audience and the purpose, affect their writing style because we know that she's going to use formal language for an audience that is more interested in the academic side of things. Complicated sentence structure, academic jargon in addition to gaming jargon, and little to no emotion. This is fact-based over opinionated. That's because Consalvo's purpose here is not to entertain. We might add educate to this list of purpose, but entertainment is not part of it. While people who are interested might find this entertaining in a certain way, that's not part of what Consalvo is trying to do. So her writing style is totally different here, even though she and Gita Jackson are both talking about video games. Let's move to the page from Nintendo Power Magazine. The audience for this is far more specific than the audience for the other two pieces of writing. These are for players of a specific video game, and specifically, even more specifically than that, players who can't beat a particular part of that video game. So maybe we're looking at new gamers or inexperienced gamers, or even maybe gamers who have completed every game under the sun, but this particular part of this particular game is too hard for them. There isn't really an audience besides that because the information contained here is too specific. And what is our purpose? Instruct readers on how to do a specific thing. Actually, it's a couple of specific things in the entire page. If you ignore the sort of call for questions at the bottom of the page, the writing here is just two things. And how does this affect the writing style? Well, there's no need to establish authority because it's assumed. You know that if you're reading one of these types of how to beat a video game or how to pass a video game level, you assume that the author already knows what they're doing. And the fact that it's written in the official Nintendo Power Magazine means that, yeah, this person may be able to talk to the designer of the game to find out how to beat this. There's no real entertainment in the writing, although the images may provide some entertainment. The writing style itself is just short sentences, very factual, declarative, either this is the way things are, or imperative, this is what you should do, those types of sentences. Their purpose is to instruct the reader on how to do a specific thing. So all we need are declarative or imperative sentences. So looking at these three pieces of writing, even though they're all about video games, we learn that the difference in audience and purpose is going to affect choices about our writing style. The different things that we want to get from our audience and the different things we think about our expected audience are going to change the way we write. You already do this in your own writing. The way, or I assume that you do, the way that you write to me or your other instructors is going to be different from the way that you write to your friends. And the purpose, the way that you write to me when you want an extension on an assignment is going to be different, I assume, from the way that you write to me when you're asking a question about something or when you think that I've forgotten to do something. You also talk to your friends differently when you are trying to ask them for a favor versus trying to thank them for doing something or complain about your day. Like, the way that we interact with people is already going to be different. So think about this when you are going through the writing exercises for this class and for your other classes. Who is your audience and what is your purpose? And what does that mean about the way that you write for those people? All right, thanks for watching.